First episode of 2021. Pretty disappointed that we don't have flying cars yet. I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's 2021. It's crazy.
I know.
Starting to think.
We're going to run through the upcoming CrossFit Open for you guys. So if you have done it before, this is probably going to be helpful because it is a new format this year. And if you haven't done it before, this is definitely going to be helpful because you'll get to know a lot more about what the CrossFit actually is all about. Got Sion and Tash with us today. Sion, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Tash.
Hello.
If you're listening, you can hear the difference. If you're watching the YouTube version, you'll see us in front of the camera. So to kick everything off, I wanted to hear a story from each of you from your first CrossFit Open or an early CrossFit Open experience. So maybe we'll start with you, Tash.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about that. I had to look back a couple of years. So Nina and I joined in 2012 just as the Open was starting. So I guess our first one was 2013 that we actually had a proper year under our belt of doing a couple of classes. And I still remember, I'll never forget our first workout, which had to be an ascending weight ladder for 13.1. And it was burpees to target that started at a high rep range. I think it was like 40 and then went like 40, 30, 20. But then the snatch ascended, obviously. And back then there was no scaled version, as we will start discussing later on. So I still remember going on an empty male barbell for my snatches, and it was about 10 minutes before the workout. I turned to Chad McKay and I was like, "Can you teach me how to snatch?" And he was just like, "Oh, right." So you just kind of grab a barbell and just chuck it above your head. I was like, "Cool." But yeah, and I like just remember people pushing me through the first reps, just trying to get under this 45-pound bar. And I definitely got through all the burpees real quick, got to that second barbell, and just spent the next 10 minutes trying to get under. I think it was actually a big jump too. It was almost like a jump to 30 kilos.
For us, it was 40 to 60. So for you, it would have been 30 to 45. Kilos.
So it was,
Yeah,
so
probably 95 pounds.
Given that I had just learned how to snatch 10 minutes prior, I was not going to get 45 kilos above my head.
And that was a 17-minute cap, that one.
Yeah,
so you just stand
I was there for ages.
Staring at the bar.
And I had so many people yelling at me, like all these cues and tips, like just get under, like flicker up. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, not happening. But that was awesome.
Were you nervous before that first one?
Oh yeah, I cried in my first Open. Like I put myself in such a bad.
You cried in all your
Yeah, I did. Except the year I qualified, given I changed my mindset. But
we cried with tears that year.
Yeah. But tears of joy. We
joy.
did cry with tears. Yep, it's good job, Sean. But tears of joy. No, so yeah, I think I just put such a big expectation on myself. There was always this hype about the Open back then, like everyone's like super competitive, and you never really are happy with your own score until you progress every year, and then you're like, oh wow, so shit last year. But it was good. I don't remember much. I remember I have videos still failing 95-pound power cleans, and it's crazy when you kind of get to
Let's
that.
edit those in. I want to see a few
I've got it.
of those.
I can give it to you.
That's
But I've got videos of it all, just like monkey swinging, the double swing on a toe bar and then a strict toe bar up. It's so good.
Yeah, we should say, start kicking this podcast off about the Open, and for people that haven't done the Open, we should maybe say now that the Open has developed a lot from back when it started.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And it really shouldn't be, you shouldn't have an experience like that this
not
year.
anymore.
If you're listening to the coaches here, it shouldn't be like that at all. No. But yeah, back when the Open kicked off, it was
The Open has
wild,
become
wild west. much
much friendlier to the general public.
Which is much, much better.
Yes, it makes
It's
it so much more
significantly different now, the whole experience of it, to what it was in the early years, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Sion, what about you?
Well, my first Open was the first Open, which was 2011. I did it. It was meant to go for 6 weeks. And what happened is, CrossFit being in such early days, they put out the leaderboard and the workouts, and everyone tried to upload their scores after the first week, and the website completely crashed. So no one could upload their scores. So what they did is they just extended it from 1 week to 2 weeks, the first one. So they had time to fix their infrastructure of their website.
I forgot about that. It was the longest
I do
Open
remember
ever.
that.
It went for 9 weeks. The whole Open went for 9 weeks.
Don't know why I didn't retire that year.
So the first ever Open workout was the 15 power snatch at 75 pound, 30 double under. And what happened was, in those days, we didn't really understand as much about sort of hitting it at the highest intensity possible and then leaving it. So what happened was you had 4 days to do it. I think I did it twice on the first day and then every other day because I just thought the more I did it, the better I'd get at it. And then the website crashed and they're like, right, we need a little bit more time. You got an extra week. So
I just did that workout every day.
I reckon I did that workout. I'm going to say 9 times before I submitted my score. And the score that I submitted was my very first one.
I actually didn't know that story.
Yeah, so I did it 9 times and I got my best score on the first one and then I didn't beat it 8 times. And then for the rest of the workout, my back was so sore because I had done literally like hundreds and hundreds of power snatch and double under.
Oh, that sucks.
So that was the very, very first Open. And the issues that they had that year with the website was hilarious. It was so funny. They would go, deadlines 6 a.m., 9 a.m., midday, tomorrow midday. You get an extra week. And they must have just
Thursday before the next one.
Yeah, they must have just been scrambling to try do it. But I remember it was the worst thing to ever happen to us to get an extra week because I just kept doing that workout trying to beat my score.
It was so long. And I think some of the computer issues and the scoring submission issues was almost a testament to the success of CrossFit and how unique that CrossFit Open was in its first year. As far as I know, no one had ever run such a big online fitness competition before.
Yeah.
I can't remember the numbers, but they were in the high tens of thousands the first year.
Yeah, they were straight off the bat.
Yeah.
And I don't think they expected that. Well, obviously not, because they just did not have the infrastructure to support all the people logging on at once to try upload their score. Their site just literally crashed. And it was so stressful because you thought you were the only one that couldn't upload your score. So at the time I was at another affiliate training there. And I remember calling the affiliate owner 20 times. I can't get my score. And he would have had that call from every other member because it was the first time. So we didn't know what we were doing. I thought I was doing something right. It was, thank God I wasn't an affiliate owner at that time. That would have been horrific.
I would turn my phone off.
Yeah.
It would have been a nightmare.
Very fun though. Very fun.
Yeah. It's tough to be an owner at the best of times during the Open, I think. So, yeah, nice. My first Open, I can't really remember too much specifically, but I remember I was wearing Converses in almost all the workouts, and they don't fit me very well, and I just had like aching feet the whole time.
Oh God.
So dumb.
2011 as well, yeah?
Yeah,
2011.
Yeah. I have actually done all of the Opens.
Every workout and every Open?
Every single one.
That's
wow, that's impressive.
It's been, it's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Because we also did that double year. 2019.
We had the Feb and the October one.
Yeah. But then we didn't have one last year.
We didn't have one at all last year.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. And then it's just 3 weeks this year. So it was good. I actually thought the first one, I was fairly confident through my coach at the time that I was going to qualify to the regionals. So I kind of cruised through it a little bit. I don't think I redid week 1. He was like, oh, you'll be all right, blah, blah, blah. And then I didn't qualify, which is probably a blessing anyway. But yes, the Open has been a long journey for me for sure. Yeah. Okay, now before, generally the CrossFit Open ran for 5 weeks. You get a workout on Friday. It gets announced online. Always a bit of a circus with Dave Castro, and very exciting. I used to be super excited about it in the beginning. And then you have about a week to submit the score. And after 5 weeks, you're on the national leaderboard, international leaderboard, made-up leaderboard, gym leaderboard, whatever leaderboard you want to be. So it is a competition. But this year, there is, for several reasons, I'm sure, new ownership of CrossFit, all the stuff that we're going through globally, there are some changes. Mm-hmm. So maybe, Sean, can you take us through some of the stuff that's happening this year and how it's going to run?
So this year, specifically around COVID, they've given you a lot more options this year. So in years past, we've only really had 2 options to do the Open. You do it the RX version, which is for the people that want to try qualify, I suppose, to the next step, and for the people that are capable of doing those sort of movements and weights. And then you had a scaled version, which was obviously the same workout or same format, but just a little bit less, a regression for it. Very similar to how we regress, say, for example, a pull-up to a ring row. Whereas this year, they have no idea where the entire world, because this is a global event, they don't know where everyone's lockdown is going to be up to. They don't know if you're going to have access to an affiliate. So what they've done this year is they've created two sides of it. One side is that you do it at an affiliate, which obviously you guys would do it here with us. And you have the RX version, which would be considered like the highest level. You have a scaled version, and then on that same side, you have a foundations. So picture it like going from a chest to bar pull-up to a pull-up to a ring row. So there's regressions, and that goes for all the movements. On the other side of that, you have a at-home variation with no equipment. So they'll release 3 workouts, 1 workout a week, and it's going to consist of, I assume, air squats, burpees, sit-ups, stuff like that. So that's for the people around the world that can't get access, still in lockdown, can't get access to a gym. They get to do it on there. And the way the leaderboard works is if you were to do 1 rep at the RX level, you would beat every single person in the world that did the scaled version, even if they got 1,000 reps. As long as you went to the highest level and did 1 rep, you beat everyone else, and then that trickles down. So for the people that are competing, obviously you have to do the top one, otherwise you're going to get beat by every single person. So that's sort of the way it's going to run this year. They've also pushed it back a little bit. So usually we would be starting this in Feb, which is great for us because we come out of our silly season. Most people go away on holidays, then come back and go straight into competition. This year, they've pushed it back to allow for a little bit more time for the restrictions to ease and stuff like that. So we're actually starts March 11th. For us, you'll do the first workout Friday, March 12th, and then it's the consecutive Friday nights we do it in here for the 3 weeks.
Yeah. So the workouts gets announced on Friday.
Be Friday morning.
Friday 11 a.m.
Yeah. We do it probably from Friday 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. Yeah.
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
And then you have until Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. to submit your score.
Yeah.
But there's always 2 answers to these questions, because there's the competitive side, which we don't have a huge emphasis on. We obviously have some really good masters athletes, but this is the first step for the competitors around the world to get to the CrossFit Games. And then for us, which is what we put the most emphasis on, is the social side of it. So essentially we use these 3 weeks as the Friday nights to have a huge social event. One of them will do a dress up. The other one, we order pizzas afterwards. And so we always try to get as many people in the gym involved in it as possible, not to compete, but more so for the social side of it. And especially because we haven't had a social event here since, Kimbo and I were just talking about it before. It was the fundraising event for the fires last year. And then obviously we had the amazing race, which was a variation of it that we could fit in. But
to the best of our abilities on the rules.
So hopefully this Open come March, we can get 3 Friday nights in a row where we have a big social event in here. Even if you don't participate, we always ask everyone to come down and watch and cheer on. And,
It's like the Open Festival for 3 weeks.
I was just going to ask, Tash, who can do the Open?
Everyone. Everyone can definitely do it. Especially now, there's always been worries, and when they released Scaled for the first time, it was a blessing, because I think for us, that got us, a way to explain to people, you don't have to be able to do a chest bar or sit there for 10 minutes trying to get one. Now you have these jumping pull-up variations or whatnot. It's just so much easier to join in. But I think with this year, it makes it that much of an easier thing to tell people you can 100% do it because of foundations now. And, there are a few times where I've even thought to myself, you try and tell members, just jump in, join in. But you can think of a few people that it's almost even scale might be a bit too soon for you. So I think I love the fact that they've released this foundations option, because now I feel more comfortable to say anyone, just sign ups, it's $20 US for the 3 weeks. It's not that big of a deal for that type of thing. And to jump in and have such a great community event 3 Friday nights in a row is a really great way to just get in with the gym people that you might not necessarily train with every day as well, and get to meet more people. But with the foundations option, I'm hoping, and I'm sure it will be, that it will just be so much more welcoming to people who might feel a little bit intimidated or worried about what might be included, and to kind of say to them, like, trust me, whatever you've been doing in the sessions on a weekly basis in the gym, like it won't be anything drastically different to that. Yeah.
I think that, to your point, I think that's a really good sort of, if you come in and do our sessions 3 or 4 times a week, whether it's FSC or CrossFit, you are completely fine in doing these 3 workouts. Yeah, there's nothing that's going to come up that they can write that isn't going to be familiar to you from what we do in here as well.
Yeah.
And I think as well, another one will be the teens with the foundations. I think there'll be a big emphasis on younger people doing it as well.
Yeah.
So we've got a few really young athletes that I'd probably, in years past, say, look, don't do the open, just because we don't know and we don't get to choose the workouts and
the weights
and the weights, and you have to do it as it's written or you don't get to do it. Whereas this year with the teens, we can actually encourage them to do the foundation stuff as well. So that adds another element to it as well, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Sean, talk a bit more about we've discussed this before, but for this group of people, the people that doesn't necessarily want to compete in the open, but it's still a good idea to do them, to be kind of most of a majority of the people that train here are adults, they kind of have, I guess a normal life. Being able to jump in and compete a little bit for fun weekly, like it's a healthy aspect, right?
Yeah, I think it's really healthy, and I think it's something that you lose the older you get. So typically when you're younger, you're playing school sports and you're doing that, and you get the butterflies in your stomach and you get the nervousness. But I think as we get older and older, we tend to veer away from that as much as possible. So rather than getting the nervousness and the butterflies, we just choose to not do it and not throw your hat in the ring and stay on the outside and watch. I think it's really healthy to do it. I think it's good to put yourself in that uncomfortable position. There's going to be a lot of people in here watching you, which makes people nervous, which I think is a good thing, not a bad thing. And as well, a lot of people in here are parents. And when you watch them come in and they bring their kids and their kids watch them do that as well, I think it's a really good message for their kids that their parents are willing to put themselves in this position.
Such good role models.
Yeah, and I think so. I encourage everyone to do it, but I do understand it is really nerve-wracking, and I think that is why you should do it. I think that to put yourself in that uncomfortable position is really good.
And I also like to cover that up too as well, and this is obviously what the Open is really all about, is the fact that you get to put a score forward for yourself. I think one of our members actually posted about this earlier today in our community page, and this was, what he said, and he did a screenshot of all the years he's competed and how he's progressed and can look back to all his scores. Because I think it's been a general rule every year that the Open will repeat an open workout.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. So every year, I don't know if that will happen with the 3 this year, and I'm hoping it does in a way. But so every year they've repeated a workout to give you that chance to, if you're just going to set the foundations for yourself this year, awesome, and then you give yourself that score, then you give yourself this goal for the next year to then do it again next year, and then hopefully if whatever we did this year, we might be able to repeat, and then they can go, this is how much I've progressed, or not even a repeat necessarily. Like you could just compare your scores to similar movement workouts and be like, oh my goodness, I attempted RX, I only did 5 pull-ups that year. This year I managed to get 20. It's such a great thing for yourself to even be able to give yourself this benchmark.
Yeah, it's a perfect example. Compare yourself with yourself. Yeah. I think where it goes wrong often with that category of participant in the Open is that they come in here and they get nervous about what everyone else in the gym thinks about their performance.
Yes.
And honestly, most people don't really care about what other people do. They care about their own performance.
Everyone's sitting in their own performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I got my own worries.
So definitely throw yourself in there. Don't worry about what everyone else is thinking about what you're doing in the workout and what score you get. But you can care about your score for yourself. That's fine, about your own score. But no one really has time to worry about others.
And then we do have the other side in here as well. So the flip side to that same coin is we do have some people in here that do this competitively, and it's a small percentage of what we do. But I might say this on here as well. If you are looking to compete in the Open and take it a little bit more serious, we're going to be a little bit more lenient with you this year as well. Been pretty strict on years past, just on like redos and stuff like that. But one of the requirements is that anyone that you think you're going to use as a judge has to complete the judging course.
If you're competing
online,
yes.
correct? If you're competing, so this is going to probably the very small percentage of the gym that want to do this competitively, but a good chance to tell you. If you think that your best friend, Zen, Larry, Buster, you guys, I'm talking to you right now, you have to do the judges course, because there is no way that we're going to be able to judge every single person in here and get your scores. And if you want to come in on a Sunday and redo a workout, we won't be able to come in preferably
Judge.
at your time.
Yes.
So if you want to help someone that's competing, so maybe your partner or your friend that's actually going for it, or you're one of those people competing, you have to do the judges course. You can sign up to it online. It sucks. I did it the other day.
Yep.
Oh, is it already up?
It's already up.
Oh, yeah.
There's always one in
Every
there.
year. Oh, God. If you get one question wrong, you go back to the start.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then it mixes it up again.
Yeah.
Almost the best part about retiring from competing is not having to do the judges course.
Exactly.
Okay, but you raised a big controversial topic, which I feel like we should explain a little bit more. Redoing of workouts. So in general, we don't want to recommend a redo. To explain what a redo is, some people who's trying to compete, especially to make it to the game, so the next stage, they will do the workout on Friday when it gets released, and then obviously they have more days to submit another result if they improve that result. Generally, why would you recommend not to redo?
So a couple things. It makes the 3 weeks this year significantly longer when you're doing sessions twice or 3 times, because, and like even the mental strain that it takes on you for the redos, very, very rarely you do better. There's only some strategic things that you might change that make you go better. And as well, when you know that you can redo a workout to try to get a better score, the first time that you do the workout, you have it as a safety blanket in your brain. You know that if you don't put in 100%, you can actually go again. So it almost creates this safety blanket where it makes you more reserved and you don't get the most out of yourself. Giving yourself that deadline, this is it. This is my grand final. I don't get to replay a grand final. You have to go. It gives you an extra 5%, 10% in those workouts as well. And then on the other side of that, these workouts, you will not replicate this intensity anywhere else throughout the year. So if you are doing the most intense workout that you're going to do all year, this is for the competitive guys and girls, and you do that 2 or 3 times in a 4-day period, the compounding effect by the 3rd week is significant. You'll be much less fit at the end than you were at the start.
Yeah.
And we are, I think all 3 of us have been guilty of this in earlier days. Me especially. 2011, 9 workouts. But yeah, so there's very, very few times that I recommend a redo. Yeah.
And it messes with your training schedule too. Like, you know, if it comes down to that whole trust your process. You've done the work. Now it's time to perform. You know, give it your all in that one attempt, like Sean said, you know, and then just move on and continue on with your training schedule, because when you look at the load, exactly like, you know, going off Sean's point, if you're going to redo 2, 3, 4 times over the space of 3, 4 days, you've just repeated this movement for X amount of reps.
Yeah, you never train like that.
Your body is, exactly. Your natural program is not like this. So your body is just going to crash and burn. And then you almost don't give yourself enough recovery to the next week. And then to top that off, generally, if you do that, come Monday, Tuesday, you rest day because you need a bit of recovery, and it throws your whole usual cycle off. And back in my experience, it was always, you know, you come in, just head in the game, get the work done, and move on. You know, we used to even do the Open on a Saturday morning, go have breakfast, recover, and then 90 minutes later, come back and then just do our usual
Back to training
session. And it was, you've got to really trust your own process. Otherwise you can really
I would say the only
yourself.
person that really should redo is someone that has a specific goal in the Open. So they're trying to qualify to the next stage, for instance, and they're in the bubble trying to make it.
Yeah.
If you're redoing it just for yourself, for your own numbers, and you'd like, you know, you're on thousands of people, like it's completely pointless.
It's irrelevant.
Yes,
it is
really
irrelevant.
I definitely love just doing it and then moving on. I know I'm done.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens. And actually, trying to think about my redos through, like I said before, I've done every single open workout. I have not redone many. I've never done better. And the only time I did, on the burpees snatches, I did exactly the same.
Same score.
Yeah, so I've never actually gotten better.
That's so brutal.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
When you put yourself through that pain for like that same amount of time and to like just get the same, even just one
Same
rep less
amount
sometimes.
of snatches. Just like,
Yeah.
So,
And-
and I'm sorry to cut you off, Tashi,
Okay.
but where we will this year, and what I want to say about being a bit more lenient with some people, we do have people that want to qualify to the next level. You are going to be treated differently to the vast majority of people. Exactly to what Kimbo said, if you're in that little bubble and we need to redo it.
Yeah.
And when we're encouraged to redo it is when there's something, a skill in there, for example, that could have a significant difference on the workout that you might not have 100%. So example of that would be if there's a workout with set to 50 double unders, and then the first night that you do it, you trip up 3 times in the first one and 5 times in the second one and 7 times in the third set. That's something where we look at that and we go, right, if we redo that, we might trip up once in the first one, twice in the second.
Yeah. Change the game plan.
We can do this. We did this with Buster a few years ago. There was times in there that we watched him do it and we go, right, there's a chance that if your double unders just happen to be on that day, it's worth redoing and it's not going to have an adverse effect on you.
Yeah.
And he was also a bubble athlete. Like
He was a
also
bubble athlete.
qualified.
He needed to qualify.
Yeah.
So there's going to be, and I'll probably speak to these guys individually, there's going to be a handful of these people that want to get to the next level. We will let you redo it. I will highly recommend after watching you do it, whether I think you should or shouldn't, but that we are going to be a little bit more lenient with those bubble athletes because I do want them to have the best chance possible to get through. And I don't want to be the person that maybe later on they think, oh, what
could've done
if?
it.
What if? And I don't want them to resent me by telling them they can't redo it in here.
Yeah.
But I will, if you redo it and do worse, I will make you a example.
Nick Bedouin. We still remember that. He's done that.
I think, Nick got the same score a couple times. I remember that.
my gosh.
How's that, dude? Same score. Oh, awesome.
Okay, well, that might bring me into the next topic I wanted to discuss is common mistakes. And obviously the first one that we just mentioned is, I think a common mistake is redoing. I've seen a lot of people never finish the 5 weeks because they're fully burnt out by week 3 and 4. But any other common mistakes that you've seen in the Open, Tash?
Yes, plenty. Creating your game plan off the top athlete performance.
That's a great one.
Everyone
That's a
does it.
great one.
Everyone's guilty of it. We've all been guilty of it initially. But So
watching the Open
announcement with the top athletes of the world and then saying, oh, if she did, sets of 7s, I'm going to do sets of 5s. Just 2 reps less should be achievable for me. And then you get into it and you're like, oh my God, I have to do singles. And then your game plan's out of the window. So definitely whenever you watch the announcement, just remember they're like that 1
Elite athletes.
percentile at the top, very, very top there.
That's a really good point.
Like watch it, have fun, watch them, how much they're hurting and then just understand what type of workout it could potentially be. But always understand your own level, your own pace and your own understanding of the workout to create your own game plan from that.
Yeah.
Never skew yourself off from watching other heats, even in the gym. I've seen people go, I was thinking of doing this, maybe I should change it to this. And I'm like, you go in with what you initially thought because that was what you know about yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah. Sean?
I think there's sort of 2 here and they're for 2 opposite people. I think one is if you want to take this serious, it's not silly to take this serious. I encourage people that really want to do their best effort. A lot of guys in here and girls put a lot of effort in all year round and this is a bit of a platform for them to, I suppose, show what they're capable of.
Exactly.
If you want to take this seriously and there's a whole bunch of people in here that aren't going to take it seriously, don't feel like you need to dumb yourself down. I don't really care about it, stuff like that. So for the guys that want to take this serious, I encourage you to take it serious and don't listen to these other people. Where I'm a little bit cynical over the years of the Open. This is probably the most excited I've ever been for the Open. But don't let someone else sort of take your flame away if you really want to go at this and take it serious. You might be 15,000th on the leaderboard, but that might mean a lot to you. So for those guys, take it serious. For the other people, don't take yourself too serious.
Yes.
I think there's a
Huge.
big difference from this person over here that wants to take it really, really serious and they're preparing for this and their nutrition and everything's geared around it. That's fine. For the rest of us, it's Friday nights, loud music, have a beer and pizza afterwards, big social event. It's really hard. Don't let either side of those affect you. Figure out what you're doing it for. And if you're someone that doesn't take this very seriously, don't look across at the people that are taking it very serious and then all of a sudden put a lot of pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Vice versa. If you want to take this really serious, don't hang around and have beers and pizza afterwards. Go back and recover for the next weekend. So
Be yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Yeah. Don't get caught up in everything else because there's a lot of people in here doing this, hopefully, and there's going to be a lot of different outcomes on this. Some of them are going to be beating their friends. Nick, Cal.
Another battle.
I don't know if that's another battle there. I don't know if that's in there this year. I'd
always
love
a
to
battle.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've thrown it out to Jesse. I'm taking Jesse on head to head.
Oh,
Me and
that's
Jesse
getting
Eric.
interesting.
I actually just came up with that then.
I like it.
So Jesse, the gauntlet.
Well, surely
is
Jesse will do better than Ryan Hewitt, so you got to step it up now.
Ryan Hewitt did terribly. I smoked him that year. I think I'm undefeated.
But you didn't finish the Open that year.
Well, let's not get into the details.
Yeah. Okay, one I will raise is preparing and knowing what the workout is, what the movement standards are, what's actually happening. So this is to the athletes that are taking it. Well, everyone would benefit from it, but especially to the athletes that take it a bit serious. It's on you to prepare and knowing what's happening before you get into the gym. And that was one of the things I always kind of felt I needed to do a lot. Is like, especially if this is your first year or even your second year, you need to know the movement standards. You need to know exactly what the workout is. You should have a rough idea how to break it up. If you come in here and expect Sion and Tash to run through that with you individually, there is so much going on that Friday afternoon. There's no chance. I'm sure they'll answer a question or two, but you need to kind of know what's happening. If you come in here and you forget about this is an obvious example, but what a snatch is or what a clean and jerk is, then you're really not going to perform well. And you'll be stressing like there's no tomorrow.
Yes.
So knowing that, coming in early, warming up well on your own, that's your responsibility.
I'm so glad he said that.
Yeah.
We should have said that.
That's a great one.
But
I totally forgot about how stressful it is for us those days.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm so pumped, and the day comes along, it's like,
And there's things like the time cuts.
Yeah.
What are they called? Sorry, not time cuts. The tiebreakers.
Yeah,
Tiebreakers.
tiebreakers.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a tie break. Oh, what's a tie break? It's
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
The workouts have gotten more and more complicated in a sense over the years, but it's meant that it's been more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have what we've had before is like there's a 4-minute time frame. You've got to do so much work within that to get into the next 4 minutes and so on and so forth. So
I'm pumped for the Open.
yeah.
Same.
All that stuff.
I forgot
is
about tie
definitely
breaks. Tie
important
breaks
to know.
as a judge is actually really stressful.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, and you feel so
Yeah.
bad if the workout's done and you're like,
Yeah. And then
Oh, I
the
didn't
person
record
walks
the
up,
tie
what's my
break.
tie break? And she's like,
yeah. So super helpful. Watch the announcement or at least watch, that
That's
short
very
movement
good. Thank you,
video.
Kimbo. I'm
worries.
so glad you said that one.
yeah.
Anything else? So yeah, especially I'm thinking like new people like Tessa and like even Jesse hasn't finished a whole Open before. I think
Yep.
Yeah.
it's like I think you guys want to have a crack. Definitely make sure that you're on that. And even now you can go back and watch Open announcements or even movement standards or workout explanations from previous years. And I would highly recommend to do that because then
Yeah.
you know roughly what it's going to be.
And another thing as well is because we've actually still got the time, it's telling me 7 weeks. I don't know why I looked at the time. Because you've still got a solid 7 weeks left until the Open begins. Another little fault, because people get so pumped 1 or 2 weeks out, it starts to amp up a bit. Don't buy new gear. If you actually really, after this podcast and you're actually pumped and you want to give it a good crack, now is the time to buy your
rope.
grips,
Yeah,
your rope,
Not new
new
white
shoes.
Converses.
Like if you really want to get on the Nano or Metcon bandwagon, buy your shoes now. Get everything a little bit worn in,
That's
get
funny.
used to
Yeah,
it
good
because we've all also been there where, it's like, oh my goodness, I don't have grips, buy them a week out and they're too new, they're too soft, they're not like worn in and you screw yourself over
The feet
basically.
will be hurting.
Yeah, your feet don't wear Converse. Don't change
Converse
shoes.
are bad.
We could do an hour of tips. We could do so
Yeah, you
many
really
tips.
could. We've all done our worst, but
Yeah, I should also say the opposite to what, like a slightly opposite tips to what I said before is don't over plan it either. Because some people, we're going to put Nick's name out there again, has, a very well planned out game
Sorry,
plan.
Nick.
And then as soon as if you go in and think that's what's going to happen, generally it won't happen to the T. So you need a backup plan as well. Like you need to be able to adjust in those workouts on the fly.
Yeah.
yeah.
So don't, spend too much time on spreadsheets.
Yeah, I can't wait.
What's a mistake that you guys have done in opens before? Tash.
I have a list of them. It was 10 seconds till the workout started. I didn't have a judge.
Oh, that's a good one. That happens a lot.
I have video evidence of that one too.
Screaming, I don't have a judge!
Yeah.
Like just before it started.
And that was a heat with like Dommy, Harriet Roberts. Like
Everyone's
I
ready.
stopped the whole heat of the real competitive guys as well.
Yeah. Maybe on that, let's explain what you guys are doing for the day, because I'm assuming it's similar to years before, but there's new people that might do the open.
Yeah.
How does it heat? The judges, all
How
that
it
work?
works. Yeah,
So
it's a
what
great
happens
question.
is the workout will get announced on the CrossFit Games website at 11 a.m. We take a bit of time to digest it and figure out how many people we can put in heats. Obviously, this year we're going to have social
logistics
distancing
of
and
it
stuff
all.
like that. So then it takes a couple of hours for us to figure out, right, we're going to have 6 lanes at the gym, et cetera, et cetera. Then we put a post out in our community page saying there's going to be 5 people in a heat. These are the time frames: 4 o'clock, 4:15, 4:30, 4:45, and we list them all. And then it's first in, best dressed on picking your best suited time. We do it all Friday night, so start at 4 o'clock and we go until the last person's finished, and then you just get to submit whatever time suits you best.
Yeah.
Pretty much from that.
Judges.
For the vast majority, 99% of people in here, you can just judge whoever you like. So you can
Get a
just grab your friend. Highly recommend you don't judge your partner and you don't judge anyone in your family.
Might not be friends after.
Exactly. if you much prefer someone else to lose count than your
Uplifted
wife
divorce
or
rate.
your husband. Yeah. So yeah, don't judge your partner or a family member. Get someone else. For the small percentage of people that I spoke about before, you will need someone who is a certified judge that's done the course as well. So, and hopefully before you walk in, you already know who you're judging. So we'll put all that out as well.
And also just like if you're here cheering or supporting, like just kind of help out to
Yeah,
judge.
you can
Judging
just throw-
sometimes can get a bit daunting for people, but just help out. Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
And we run it every Friday night. And then if you can't do it on Friday night, so say, for example, you might get the first 2 weeks in, but you're away on the 3rd week, we always make sure that we give you an opportunity to do it because you have until Tuesday morning. So on a Monday, we might designate some time and match you up with someone that couldn't do it on the Friday, and then you both can come and do it next to the class or between sort of the 6:30 and 9:30 class in the morning or whatever it is. Yeah. So you don't just have that Friday night. You have the Friday to Tuesday morning to actually get it done. But we
Definitely more fun on Friday night.
It is. You don't want to be doing it
And again,
any other
because
time than
of,
Friday
like you
night.
said earlier, because of the vibe of Friday, you're always going to almost perform your best because there's
Yeah.
a whole group of people. Whereas it's such a difference when you come in on Monday and it's just you and that
Do it
other
in a
person.
quarter. Oh,
Yeah.
It's so annoying. Yeah. So back to mistakes. Sean, do you remember any that you've done besides the million redos?
The million redos always got me unstuck. I would say in my earlier days when I was like really trying to compete at it, if I wasn't where I needed to be on week 2 or 3, I would just throw the hat, like just because I was doing it competitively. And I was like, right, I'm nowhere near where I needed to be, or I know that I can't make up these spots. I just wouldn't do the last couple workouts competitively. I would
It's another reason why I climbed on the leaderboards.
Yeah.
People did that.
Yeah. So it was, but that very different to now because then I had a very specific number that I needed to be at. So my mistake was like I didn't finish it off, and I regret every year that I didn't do those workouts now. In hindsight, I should have just done them. I would have had a better idea, but it just at the time I chose not to. So if you're gonna do it, you're doing all 3.
And this year it's easier. It's 3
It's
instead
3
of 5.
weeks.
5 I always felt was long.
5 was hard to get through.
Yeah.
This being 3. And
So you leaderboarded too much.
way too much.
Yeah.
Way
So
too much.
that is a common mistake.
Yes.
Yeah. Jumping on the leaderboard and seeing where you're at. And this is a great time as well to look at other people like your friends that do CrossFit all over the world. Like you get to sort of see where they're at as well, which is a cool part of it. Yeah, but mine was probably I redid the workouts way too many times and I leaderboarded, and then as soon as I knew that I was out of contention to qualify those years, I just didn't do the rest, which I regret now for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From my side, one thing I have done over the last few years or recently is kind of thinking that I knew the movement standards of some movements because I've done so many of these opens. But for instance, the burpees, that movement standard has almost changed every year.
It has,
It's been like jumping over the bar, 2 feet together, or you didn't have to have 2 feet together.
Can't do the step up.
The step
Remember
up
the
thing, and then you
step up?
can do the step up.
Yeah.
I've definitely done that mistake coming in there. I was like, oh shit, I was planning it slightly different. But then probably the most common mistake I've done over the years is underestimating how much time I needed for the warm up. Especially when I really wanted to compete, because I'm a slow starter in a workout, and if it's like a 7-minute, 10-minute workout, I really needed to be like warm, sweating, going, like be ready.
Yeah.
And then because you come in here, you help someone judge, and then there's not like the right weights or the equipment to warm up properly, and then suddenly you run out of time, and then I'm not quite ready as you go.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably one thing, mostly for people that want to compete.
Yeah.
Like I really care about it, but I would say if there's a fairly technical movement like a snatch or a muscle up, I would probably go in like an hour before if I wanted to, because there's stuff happening.
Yeah.
And also, like, to top that off, and a bit of advice to anyone who really wants to compete, whether it's in here or, you know, if you're listening from somewhere else, to treat the open workout as a session, as your session. So what we were doing like 3-4 years ago is we would be told to come in quite significantly earlier, a little bit, do a warm up as if we're warming up for a session, and then they would almost program like a bit of a submaximal weightlifting session.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so like really get our bodies going, get yourself under some weights as if you're doing like your strength part, but nothing too crazy heavy. And that really warmed us up really well to then be like, okay, our part B is the open workout. Yeah. So that was a really good kind of piece of advice for anyone who wants to kind of think about how they can warm up, is almost do a little bit of a nothing too crazy strength piece to start off with.
That is a good way to do it, especially because the warmer, you get sweating.
Yeah, exactly.
You get going much
and then
quicker.
recover a little bit and jump into your session. But it can be hard. It can be hard when you're in here and then someone
too
comes.
fun.
It is. Someone comes to talk to you and then you just get caught up in watching the heats.
Yeah, you're watching someone. Yeah, you're watching someone compete. You're asking them about their strategy.
How'd you find it? Yeah. That's good. But it's pretty cool that the Affiliate Cup is also back.
Yeah, explain what's going on there.
We don't know.
Okay.
So they haven't. No, it's definitely back, but they haven't outlined exactly how that's going to look yet.
So we get a gym team score, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
and you have to train. We have to live within 100 miles.
We don't know.
That's what they've posted on their website.
Okay, so the only thing that we know is the Affiliate Cup that used to happen. So you had to train at a gym for 3/4 of your training session. So say if you train 5 times a week, you need to do at least 3 at this one gym. And then your best at the time used to be best 3 males, best 3 female scores all get put together. And then that gets your team score against all the other gyms. But this year, because and we haven't touched on this, but there's the second round of the Open.
Yep.
There's a second online qualification, which is the 10% of top athletes worldwide and teams. They haven't outlined it if you could be an individual athlete and a team athlete in that second stage.
Yeah.
So, we won't touch on it too much because they haven't released the full outlined version of how they're going to run that yet.
Yeah.
Which is super exciting though.
It is.
I wonder what our chances are generally for a top 10%.
I have no idea what top 10% means.
Because also now there's so many affiliates that de-affiliated.
Yeah.
But in my head, when I think top 10, I'm like, oh, I'll just be like 200 people. But then you're like,
No,
it could
top
actually be
10's
like
a lot.
20,000 people
Yeah.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think no one knows. It's the first time they've ever done this. So it's going to be really interesting. It could be.
I don't even think in my peak, though, I would have been a top 10% athlete.
Well, definitely,
I
because you've got to
would
think
have.
region as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think you definitely would have.
Okay.
So we don't know. Yeah.
But what about the masters? What are they? Because we have some masters athletes here that want to qualifying through the next stage and maybe even the next stage. What does that look like?
So the way that they've outlined it so far is you got your 3-week open. They qualify to the top 10%, which is again an online, exactly the same as the open. Probably going to be a little bit more technical. I imagine that's only my opinion.
That's in May, I believe.
And then after that, they qualify to the top 200.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was similar to before.
And then if you win that one, that's your ticket to the games as well. Yeah.
And it will still be the top 20. I think they've kept it at top 20.
No, they made it more.
Have they?
Yeah, they made the Masters more.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was 20. Okay.
It's been very confusing
10.
this year.
It was 10 at the last one, remember?
Oh, it was last year 10.
They went to 10. Yeah. But they've put way more emphasis on that as well. I think they kept the teens the same because there wasn't that much intake on the teens, but the Masters they've put back up to 20 again. So
Yeah. All the changes because of new ownership.
New ownership, yeah. Which is by far, this has been the most clear-cut and earliest we found this information out. Usually we found it out a week or even sometime days before it happening.
Yes.
This is by far the best lead into it and probably why we're the most excited for this Open than I have been since probably 2013, 14 around there was when it really hit its peak.
Yeah.
And then, this year is going to be very good. Very good.
And with that, because we do know a bit about the equipment, etc., let's maybe go... let's do this. Tash, let's mention the most common movements previously in the Open. Like what would we always see in the Open?
Thrusters.
Yep.
100% thrusters. 100% burpees.
Yep.
There's always been chest to bars to me.
Yeah.
Because it's never pull-ups. It's always chest to bars because it's a clear-cut rule.
Easier to judge. Yeah.
Wall balls, but there's no wall balls this year. There's no wall ball on the list of equipment.
Hence me picking Jesse. No rowing, no wall balls.
Yeah.
Burpee thrust is always skipping, double unders.
Double unders every year, I think.
Yeah.
And the skipping rope is back in this year.
Skipping rope's on the list. Yeah, double unders.
Other barbell
thrusters.
movements.
Barbell movement snatches. There's always, they've technically always kind of moved it together with like, if there's a power snatch, you can do ground to overhead together.
Yeah.
So I've always noticed that was a kind of a recent rule where you didn't have to do the power snatch movement itself. You can just go ground to overhead however you please.
So you can clean and jerk it.
You can clean and jerk.
A bit more inclusive.
Exactly. Rather than being so technical on a snatch. So,
they're pretty much the most common ones.
Box jumps, but no box this year.
No box this year.
Yeah. So and bar muscle ups.
Bar or ring,
There's no rings.
There's
no rings. There could be bar muscle ups because you need a pull up bar or someone to do pull ups.
So we've had both bar and rings before, but this year it's only bar.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what are the announcement of the equipment this year?
So there's anything that is barbell and plates, dumbbell.
Dumbbell? I didn't
know
Yeah,
about
dumbbells in there. Yeah.
Okay, so
barbell and plates, dumbbell, skipping rope. No, box is in there.
A box is in
Box is in there.
Yeah, I thought I saw a box.
And a pull-up bar.
so what dumbbell? Have we had dumbbell movements before? Yeah, we
with
had.
lunges.
And then with the
There was one
We've
year
had
where it
heaps
was.
of them.
Yeah.
There was 1 year almost. Oh, that was regionals. They had not one
And we've
barbell
had
movement.
dumbbell snatches with the dumbbell snatch box jump over
Yeah.
burpee
Yeah.
box jump over workout.
Remember
That was
the double
a great
lunge?
workout.
That was a long one.
Remember the lunge with the handstand walk? That was sick.
Yes. We've had handstand walk in there as well.
Yeah, Buster got his first ever handstand walks that year.
That's
right. Sorry, quick story, but that year Buster was trying to qualify. He had handstand walks in the workout, and after the handstand walks, there was rowing, and he had never been able to handstand walk before, so we didn't even get the roller out, and we started the workout, and he kicks up onto his hands, and he just starts walking.
And
then
And he did a competitor.
Yeah, he did like 4 lengths, and he's on his last length, and we're going, get a roller!
Yeah, he's like, get the rower ready.
That was funny that year. And as well, I think something worthwhile mentioning with the workouts is that typically they build in I suppose technical movement. So what I mean by that is
gradual progression.
Yeah. So what happens is there'll always be at the start, an all-inclusive movement. So what I mean by that, let's use the example Tash used before. There'll be a empty barbell snatch with burpees. like almost anyone can do that. But then in the second round, it might go to 85, 95 pounds in burpees. So then it sort of eliminates the
Ascending
people
ladder.
that have that. And then the next one will go to 135 pounds. So it eliminates that. All with
They did it
the
the other- it was
workouts
the
on the
handstand
pull-up
push-ups,
bar.
yeah.
They go, might be first round might be 5 pull-ups. Second round might be 10 chest bars. Third round might be 15 bar muscle ups.
Yeah.
So as you get more fatigued, you're expected to be more technical with your
More
movements. Yeah, and more efficient. So that's a way, just so everyone knows, that more than likely you're going to be able to start every movement, but how the better guys and girls get further is that they get the more skillful or heavier barbells as it goes. Yeah.
Progressively, yeah.
Good point. All right, let's wrap it up with some, because one of the funniest things about the Open, and one of the things I really love about it, beside the social point, is that there's always some good stories from the Open. Can someone think about some cracking stories from previous experiences? I mean, I can maybe...
I got Nick
you got
McGrath.
one?
in my
I
head.
had to
was
do
gonna say
Nick.
the same.
No,
It's all time
I was going to say the same.
open story of all time.
Go for it.
All right, I hope we got to send this to Nick McGrath as well.
2016.
Yeah, Nick McGrath, he used to coach with us for years and then changed careers. And he was trying to qualify the team this year. So he was trying to be in the top 3 scores of the gym. And the workout had some toes to bar in it. It was a really very tough workout. And he is renowned for not necessarily being the most skillful athlete ever.
Under fatigue especially.
Under fatigue, he used to do some funny stuff, but he never had an off switch. He's someone that I've seen hurt more than anyone else. So he used to outwork people that were significantly more skillful and fit than him. He used to beat them. So anyway, in this one workout, I was actually judging him in this workout. He gets halfway through and he starts to feel really sick. And I was like, are you all right? And he just loses all color in his face. And I'm like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm good.
I think it was like a full 3-minute progression one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you had to make yourself
it
to the
through.
next one. Yeah.
So anyway, he drops off these toes to bar and he just goes for a run, goes out of my sight. I'm like, what the hell? And we're at the Brookvale gym at the time, and he opens the window and he projectile vomits out the window. Like, it was huge, and probably 3 or 4 of them like that. So
Not funny, sorry.
I just dropped my clipboard. I'm like, no point judging him anymore.
So
and I
turned
start
around
watching other
the
people.
Competitors.
And then all of a sudden, Sean, and he's up on the thing and he's doing toes to bar again. And I was like, whoa. So I grab my clipboard. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, keep going, keep going. So he makes it into the next 4 minutes. And he did like unbelievably well in this workout. And then at the very end, he's laying on his back. He's got vomit on him. He's vomited out the window. And then I'm like, Nico, are you all right? Or he's in another world. He's on another planet. He's Sean, I think I shit myself. I said, what? He goes, yeah, I think I pooed myself. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm serious. I was like, oh my God.
And he legitimately did.
He did, yeah. So
It was 25 toes to
going
bar,
that
50
hard.
double unders, and the squat clean one. I remember that one.
It was hilarious. And to this day, the best open result and story I've ever seen. I've
So
never seen
good.
someone do
He
that.
went
It was
full wide
hilarious.
That was, pushing to your limits legitimately.
To this day, I don't know how he used to push as hard as he did. He
Was-
did not have that.
Was it Nick that had another story on the rower when he came back on the rower?
So that workout, it was the 60 cal, 50 toe to bar, 40 wall ball, 30 muscle ups, and then you had to get back to the rower.
And it was a mad score to finish one round,
you just
let alone
get-
coming back getting
If you just get one
the
full
rower.
round, that was very, very good. Nico finishes one round. There's probably 10 seconds on the clock. He runs over the rower to try get 1 calorie, and he grabs the handles. He puts his feet on the rower, but he doesn't strap him in because he's only got 10 seconds. And he pulls back as hard as he can. And as the rower hits his chest, both his legs go up in the air and he falls off the back of the rower onto his head and rolls off. And then it was like 3, 2, 1 time. And we both look at the rower. Zero calories.
Not one. It's so good. That was so funny.
Oh, far out.
He had some great stories.
Yeah.
He's one of the best. He's more than welcome to come to the Open here again this year. He would have his own heat. I would just get everyone to watch him.
Yeah, we had a pretty amazing year once as well. I remember from like a really positive point of view, there was a bump. I think it was kind of like chest to bars first. something, and then it progressed to bar muscle ups. I think it was 2018 or 19, one of those years. It was a mix of chest to bar muscle up. Yeah, it was snatches, double unders maybe. And then that year, so many of our members surprised me at how many bar muscle ups they got. It was literally like bang, bang, bang. Everyone just started getting them. I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
A lot of those people never got them again, but
that's so true. It's the adrenaline of competition
that gets you up there.
Good. Yeah. I have a good one from Luke Starr, who does our programming. I would go, in the early days of CrossFit, I would go over there and shoot a little bit at Active when he was competing. And he is also renowned for going very, very hard in workouts. And I would argue that he probably loses his eyesight. I can't remember exactly what the workout was, but he was killing it. And he came, and it was 30 seconds left or something. And he came back and the movement was wall balls. And especially back then, everyone's just standing around you, yelling, screaming, like, go harder, basically whatever. And he's just like walking around in the daze. And I think he did 5 air balls. He was trying to get wall ball scores, like reps on the scoreboard. And I think it was the first 5, didn't even hit the wall. It was just straight up, straight back down. And he kept catching them, throwing again. I was laughing so hard.
He's another one. If we could,
he does some great stories.
He goes so hard.
We might do another podcast just called Story Time, and we can just tell stories over the years of all the funny stuff. Because Starr, I've got plenty about Starr.
Yeah.
I think where you said he lost his eyesight, that was at regionals. Remember, like he was meant to be doing hang cleans.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remember?
Yeah.
And it was like 100-kilo hang cleans in that workout, and he was killing it. And then he got to the bar and he just started dropping it to the ground, cleaning it from the ground. He did like 5 or 6, and the judge is going, hang cleans, hang cleans. And he was just on another planet. And then at the end of it, everyone's like, what happened? He's like, I lost my vision. And I was like, what? He's like, I didn't know what I was doing.
You know you're in trouble at regionals if the judge turns into a coach. That's when you know you've overdone it. Go past that red line, that's for sure.
Podcast, Story Time, coming soon.
Yeah. Well, guys, good to be back in a new year, and we're glad to be in the gym.
Yes.
And happy to be back on the podcasts. If you haven't listened to these ones before, there's a bit of a backlog of older episodes, so feel free to go back there. But anything else that's happening at the gym? Any announcements? Housekeeping?
I was going to say, sorry, I'll answer that in a sec. Games.crossfit.com.
Yes.
Register. We are CrossFit Monavale.
Yes.
So CrossFit Monavale is our affiliate. It's very self-explanatory. Games.crossfit.com. Sign up for the Open. CrossFit Monavale. Yep. You can do the housekeeping.
Yep.
There's no housekeeping.
Australia Day.
Oh, yeah.
This
probably will be out just before Australia Day.
Yeah. So, coming up, it's all on Zen Planner now, but there's 3 Saturday kind of style sessions in there. So to book yourself in through Zen Planner.
Yeah.
Other than that, no real housekeeping. No upcoming events.
What's the programming like? Is Starr going to turn it? So I should say one of the things I hate the most about CrossFit training in past years is training for the Open because it's so painful.
Yeah.
Is it turning into that now?
He has pumped it up, I've noticed.
This week has been
a lot of the CrossFit programming has especially been very open style programming.
Yeah, nothing for anyone to worry about. If you follow Luke Starr's programming, you're going to be fine in the Open. That's for sure.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you in the next one. To watch more videos like this, you can click the next one right up here. And if you want to subscribe, click the link down here.